here. 2 weeks ago, when Jalen Brunson's Knicks were neck and neck with the Celtics in the standings, they sent a resounding message to New York. They're not like us. The Knicks have trailed the Celtics by 35 in both of their first 2 meetings this season. But it's not just Boston that's given the Knicks a couple of problems here. In the 6 matchups against teams that have better records than New York, those 3 teams, the Knicks are winless. They've been outscored by a total of 128 points. Alongside Kendrick Perkins, Brian Windhorst, and Stephen A. Smith, I'm Malika Andrews. 6 measuring sticks games, 6 losses here for New York, with another one against the defending champions here in a matter of minutes. Stephen A., what needs to happen for some orange and blue skies to come back over New York?
Well, I need to see Karl Anthony Towns show up in these games, okay? In the 4 losses to the Cavaliers and the Celtics, this man has had 13, 12, 9, and a meaningless 23 points. The meaningless 23 points came courtesy of a 37-point loss to Cleveland on Friday night, okay? The 9 points came courtesy of the 27-point loss to the Boston Celtics at the Garden. We know that the Knicks are horrific defensively this year. We know that they've got a lot of upgrading to do with Tom Thibodeau, with OG, with Josh Hart, with Bridges. You surmise that eventually they'll come back and show something. But offensively, considering how explosive they've been this year, to lose by a combined 93 points in those 4 games to Cleveland and Boston by an average of 23.3 points. That's unacceptable. And the way to alleviate that is for Karl Anthony Towns to play against them the way that he plays against everybody else.
See, and that's my problem with you. You're always looking at one side of the floor. When it comes down to competing in Karl Anthony Towns and his Knicks team, they got to do a better job of defending, right? And this is the problem I have when the Knicks play the Celtics. Tom Thibodeau is stuck in his ways, and he keeps Karl Anthony Towns in this damn drop coverage. You can't be in this drop coverage against the Celtics and the Cavs, 2 teams that shoot the 3 ball extremely well. You're going to get cooked. At some point, you have to challenge him. You have to challenge him. Winning the championship is not easy. If that was the case, everybody could do it. Challenge him to slide those puppies, right? When I was with OKC, in the Western Conference Finals against the San Antonio Spurs, we down 0-2, okay? I was getting cooked in the pick and roll in the drop coverage against Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. I mean, they was having it their way, to the point that Steve Kerr was killing me on the broadcast, saying that I was unplayable. They should take me out of the lineup. And so we get back to Oklahoma City. I watched the game. I heard what he was saying. Get back to Oklahoma City. We in shoot around. Scott Brooks walked in. He says, you know what? Perk Surge, forget that drop coverage. Y'all gonna have to guard. We're switching everything. And I be down. In game 3, the big fella, 6'10", 285 pounds, I slid those puppies. Not only was I on Tim Duncan, but look at that stance. Look at that defense right there on Manu Ginobili. Hold on. Look at the clip, man.
Looking at the clip.
Look at the clip.
Well,
look at this clip. Down in the stands. And while I'm bringing
We got a half hour and you're sitting up there talking about one side of the ball. You've been talking about one side of the ball.
Hold on, time out. What I'm saying is, at some point, Tom Thibodeau is going to have to challenge Karl Anthony Towns defensively and tell him to slide those puppies. I was nowhere near athletic like Karl Anthony Towns is. You got to accept the challenge.
Well, maybe some help could be on the way, and that could assist Karl Anthony Towns in all of this. Our senior insider, Shams Charania, is here with us. Shams, when can the Knicks expect to get Mitchell Robinson back in the lineup here?
Malika, I told Stephen A. on his show in October that Mitchell Robinson would miss the calendar year 2024. I'm here to report that Mitchell Robinson is closing on his season debut. Sources tell me his goal is to make his return to the lineup at some point over the next week. He did multiple full scrimmages over the last several days, and he's going to have another session scheduled for early in the week. And then the Knicks, Robinson will make a determination on when that target date could be. This is someone that was a starting center for the Knicks last season. He's expected to be an anchor for the Knicks defense alongside Karl Anthony Towns, potentially finishing games together for the Knicks.
Well, we know that Stephen A. is thrilled about this return, but the Knicks, it's their three-point defense, their perimeter defense. It's really struggling here, and I'm not sure that Mitchell Robinson helps that out very much.
Dead last.
It's like that. So we can talk about Karl Towns, and look, the Cavaliers on Friday night targeted Karl repeatedly.
Yeah.
I think Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Donovan Mitchell were 11 of 11 going up against Karl Towns. But the reason that the Knicks are in trouble defensively is because they rank 30th. That's dead last, Malika, against the three. Guess what? Guess who shoots more threes than any team in the league? The Boston Celtics. So yes, they will attack Karl Towns today, but their game plan is to make the Knicks defend the three. They do get a little bit of a break. Josh Hart, who's missed the last couple of games with a sore knee, he's going to warm up with the intention to play.
He's actually going to give it a go, just in.
Okay, well that's good, but still, that's that perimeter. It's more than just their big man.
Right, and the Celtics, they are not slowing down for anybody here. They have the best record. They don't have the best record in the league, or even the second best record in the league. And despite being 6 behind the top of the league, they still have the shortest odds to win the championship, according to ESPN Bet. Do you think the Celtics are still the cream of the crop, despite having the league's best record?
Oh, yes. If you look at these last 8 or 9 games, they've won 8 of their last 9. They are playing full power. I'm just going to look at the last time they played the Knicks, which was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
the Knicks were only a game away from them in the standings. There was some belief like, oh, maybe the Knicks can sneak up here and take the 2 seed.
Killed that noise.
Wham! They slammed them. I expect them to try to send another message today, especially with Mitchell Robinson not there to help the Knicks defense.
Well, listen, the fact of the matter is this. Y'all are absolutely right in terms of how atrocious the New York Knicks defense has been. They obviously have to improve. There is no doubt about that. I'm just simply saying that when you have a star like Karl Anthony Towns and you're playing like a star throughout the season, averaging 24 and 13, but the 4 games against Cleveland and Boston is when you're at your worst, that's problematic for me. Because what I want to see is you against them just the way you look against everybody else. We know collectively they're problematic defensively. They've been horrible. New York Knicks, a Tom Thibodeau team, has been horrible defensively. That's news in and of itself. Dead last in any category on defense, let alone defending the three-point shot, is horrific. You never expect something like that from Tom Thibodeau. But in the end, when you have an offensive juggernaut, all right, which the New York Knicks have been, you can create a bit of nervousness for the opposition if they can't stop you either. You're getting blown out by these teams. Well, you got to pay attention to that.
Well, they're not nervous. And the Boston Celtics,
they're getting their butts kicked.
And the Boston Celtics should keep it that way, right? Now we're heading into the last part of the season and going into the postseason. Give them no life, no hope whatsoever. Make them not believe in that locker room. And look, when you look at the Celtics, yes, they should be the clear-cut favorite to win the NBA championship. Yes, they do have the best starting 5 in basketball. But can we talk about the growth of Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
Every single night now, flirting with triple-doubles. We know he's a walking bucket, but it's the points. It's the assists now. And also, outside of that, the guys that are growing around them, outside of the big 6, you know, if you look at the starting 5 and Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, who's going to win 6th Man of the Year in my eyes. You know, you have Luke Cornett when Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis is not playing rise to the game. That depth, the way that they're comfortable and confident, this team is still a favorite. They are very dangerous.
Tatum's about to make his 4th straight first-team All-NBA.
Yeah.
He's an NBA champion. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. He's on his way to being a first-ballot Hall of Famer.
And averaging 38.5 points on 61% shooting against the Knicks. Because that's what we're talking about right now, the Knicks.
And as we talk about their depth, guess what? They go and get Torrey Craig.
Well,
add more.
Any questions about who the Celtics are and their up and down in December, they've certainly been silenced here. The Knicks and the Celtics, though, just the first course of today's quadruple header. Oh, yes, we're here all day. We get a chance to see what Steph is cooking up with Jimmy Butler out in the Bay with Klay Thompson back in town.